Good afternoon, YouTube. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day out there. Welcome to another episode of Life of Brian. In today's episode, an installment of 5 things, I'm going over 5 things I aggressively tolerate about my 2002 Pontiac Firebird WS6. So let's get right into it. So the first thing that I aggressively tolerate about my 2002 Pontiac Firebird WS6, guys, is the Trademark signature hood, front hood, nose, snout look with these 2 ram air ducts there. It gives the car a very menacing look, an angry, pissed off look, if you will. One that if it was coming up on your rear view, you might want to get out of the way sort of look. I like the overall dimensions of the car as well. I don't think, is it a beautiful car? I wouldn't say beautiful, but it definitely has a unique look to it. And the exhausts are aftermarket. Stock, they're not quad exhausts, they're just 2 double exhausts, but there's quad here. And the car is a little dated to be sure, but again, this is an early 2000. And I think the F-body still looks pretty good today. Not fantastic, but good. It's, like I said, it's aged a little bit, but I think this front hood, the signature snout, aggressive snout, is something that's very, very favorably looked upon about this car. It's signature, it's trademark, and that's the first thing I aggressively tolerate. The second thing that I aggressively tolerate about my 2002 Pontiac Firebird WS6 is the shifter, guys. This comes with a Hurst shifter. I'm not sure if this came standard on all the WS6 trims or if it was an additional add-on feature, but yeah, I think it's actually pretty good. It's not overly notchy or heavy or cumbersome or even clumsy like my shifter that I had in my 2004 Dodge Viper. Obviously, to say it's silky smooth, it certainly is not that either. But there's definitely no ambiguity when you're in gear, so that's good. And it kind of, it's a good kind of notchiness, if that makes sense. Again, not precise, not silky smooth, but it's the throws are very short. The clutch isn't too heavy. It's pretty easy to manipulate down there. And yeah, overall, I would probably, on a scale of 1 to 10, guys, I would probably give this shifter maybe a 7, maybe close to a 7.5. It is very enjoyable to shift in the car. And I actually enjoy it more than I thought I would. So this is definitely the second thing I aggressively tolerate about the Pontiac Firebird. Strangely enough, guys, the third thing that I aggressively tolerate about my 2002 Pontiac Firebird is the steering wheel. Now, for those of you guys who have been following the channel for a little bit longer, for the most part, there's one thing I knock in my cars, it's the steering wheel. For example, I don't like flat bottom steering wheels. I don't like steering wheels that have like Alcantara on it or some sort of other weird fabric where, the oils from your hand, the sweat, the Twinkie crumbs can kind of get embedded into it. Just kind of makes it feel all nasty and nasty to the touch. But this steering wheel, obviously, humongous, ginormous, fat center here with your airbag. It's very thin. It's very, very, very thin, which unexpectedly thin and narrow. And I thought at first when I grabbed it, I was like, that's kind of weird. You'd think, kind of a beefy M3, type steering wheel. I've never been in a Mustang, and just from memory, I don't recall how thick their steering wheels are, but for some reason, I just thought that a car like this would have a beefy, fatty steering wheel. So when I first felt it, I was like, oh man, that's kind of oddly thin and skinny and narrow, but it actually feels good in the hand. Very easy to manipulate, to make short, quick turns with the car. So yeah, I actually like the steering wheel on this vehicle, strangely enough, and it's the third thing I aggressively tolerate. The fourth thing that I aggressively tolerate about my Pontiac Firebird, guys, strangely enough, are these seats. Now, they're pretty damn ugly, quite honestly. The headrests kind of suck, but that aside, they're actually quite comfortable to sit in. They give you decent side bolster support. There's enough cushion down here for, you know, the old legs and thighs. And they actually feel pretty comfortable when you're sitting inside. It doesn't hurt your back. You're not kind of weird in terms of, you know, too far forward or back. And yeah, I mean, it's a very comfortable chair, like a grand touring kind of comfort, which, you know, I shot a video the other day on my ZR1, and those seats are just aggressively horrible. But these are actually surprisingly pretty comfortable. Again, the headrest, not so much. I think it's a little bit too far back, so, you know, not that you should be sleeping in your car, obviously, but I like cars where the headrest is kind of designed where it kind of naturally touches your head if you're sitting upright, and as opposed to you have to like lean your head back as if you're taking a nap, to feel that support for the back of your head, if that makes sense. And these, you definitely have to lean your head back to get any sort of support for your head. But yeah, overall the seat is comfortable. And this is something I could see myself taking a short road trip in, or maybe even a long road trip where my back would not be killing me. And again, it's surprisingly comfortable. I find myself saying that word often about this car. You know, the shifter is surprisingly good. The seats are surprisingly comfortable. For some reason, I just thought things would be a little bit more, I don't know, horrible, if that makes sense. Again, it's a early 2000s Pontiac, right? But no, it's actually very comfortable. The ride's good. Decent acceleration, decent power, 325 horsepower, 350 torque. You know, it's right balance of power and I don't want to say agility, but it drives well. And yeah, the seats are surprisingly comfortable. The fifth thing that I aggressively tolerate about my 2002 Pontiac Firebird WS6 is the fact that it is, yes, you know, I'm going to say it, guys, it is not a common, not a ubiquitous car, right? And this is something where, you know, you don't have to, we're not talking obviously supercar money, hypercar money by any stretch. It's a nice sports car that's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. And especially if you get one in decent condition. This car had just a little over 24,000 miles on it. The previous owners definitely took good care of it. Mechanically, so far, knock on wood, nothing's gone wrong. But I do like the fact that it's not a Mustang, it's not a Camaro, it's not a Challenger, it's not a Charger. It's not something that's just everywhere. And that's kind of what always appealed to me about Pontiac in general, but especially the Firebird. I think I mentioned in my previous video, when I just got the car, the Celica was my childhood dream car growing up. So when the new, what do we call it? I think it was in 2000 guys, when the Celica and the Celica GTS came out, I got a GTS, and I was like over the moon, just thrilled with that car. It was my dream car. And I remember reading a review on, I don't know if it was Car and Driver or Motor Trend or, one of those magazines, one of those websites, where they were doing a review on a 2002 Pontiac Firebird, this exact color. And I remember the title of it. It was Roaring into Extinction. And I just thought, man, it's a cool looking car. You put it right next to the Camaro, which again, it's basically, externally, internally, whatever, obviously there's some differences, but it's, basically it's the twin, it's the same car, right? With some minor revisions, of course, but those minor revisions, modifications in the Pontiac version, I think it's night and day. You put this next to a Camaro from this same age, same year, and I just think I'm not saying it's an aggressively ugly car, but the Camaro is like, you don't give it a second look. These Firebirds, especially I think in black and red, when you see them go by the road, I saw, actually before I got this car, there was a black one. It wasn't a WS6. I'm not really, there's like several trims, right, on these Firebirds, like Firehawk, Trans Am, something. All you guys who are Pontiac experts and aficionados out there, don't crucify me. But yeah, I'm not even sure of all the different trims. I think WS6 was the highest, but the one that I saw parked in the garage in my office wasn't the WS6. It didn't have the Ram Air hood nostrils, the air intake on the hood, and even that looked fantastic. I was like, wow, that looks really good. And it's a 22-year-old car, right? So yeah, I think they still look good. I think they as similar as they are to the Camaro, I don't think they've aged as poorly or as fast as the Camaro, if that makes sense. I still think they look good. They still look decently modern. You know, any modern day Mustang or Camaro or Challenger pulls up next to this car, I don't think, you know, it's like you're pulling up to like a Duesenberg or like, you know, some car from the 60s or 70s. It still looks fairly modern. And again, you know, 325 horsepower, I think 350 foot-pound of torque. It's nothing these days, right? I mean, you get that out of Camrys, maybe not, but you guys get my point. But yeah, it's still it's a fun car to drive. It's a well-balanced car. It kind of gives you enough of the speed and the power, but also the chairs are super comfortable. You kind of get that Grand Touring vibe as well. And it's not rare, but it's not as ubiquitous and common as its contemporaries, the Mustangs, the Camaros, and obviously the other cars that it always played third fiddle to. And I just think these cars are really fun and they're underrated. And if you get a chance to grab one, you should, because I think you'll enjoy it. So hope you guys liked the video. Give it a thumbs up, comment below, like and subscribe. Please support the channel. Hope to put more content on the Firebird on the channel. If you guys have any questions, any ideas for more content on the car, definitely share it with me. I definitely want to put out videos that are interesting to you guys or helpful or useful in any way. And yeah, hope to catch everyone on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.